Good afternoon, it's Brian at Fitzpatrick's Garage, Dublin Road, Kildare. I want to show you this Honda Jazz 1.3 ESi-VTEC with a manual gearbox. Brian's my name. If there's any information you'd like in this particular car, or if you can tell me where to get a decent haircut, give me a shout, 086 843 1945, sorry, a bit windy today. Or if you come to the garage, just ask for Brian. So as we were saying, this car here is a 172. It is a 1.3 ESi-VTEC. This car has been part of our fleet. So at the time, okay, there's about maybe 2,500 kilometres on it now, but it is in use with our fleet at the moment, so that can rise a little bit, but not too much. So let's have a quick look at the features around it, and if you want any information on the car in terms of trade-ins, finance options, or general queries overall, if you want to book a test drive, 086 843 1945, that's the best way to get me. So, okay, let's have a look. So starting off with the engine, that is a 1.3 i-VTEC. It is just over a little over 100 horsepower. So there's actually quite good power in it considering this size of car. If you look at other cars in the segment, they'll usually run in the region of 60 to 75 horsepower. This one here at just over 100 brake horsepower is actually one of the most powerful in the segment. So quite a nice car to drive. In terms of road tax for the year, it's €200. And after that then, in terms of fuel efficiency, realistically, and I can confirm, although you don't have to take my word for it, just come try it yourself, this car is going to sit quite comfortably at 4.5 to 5 litres per 100 kilometres, which is about 50 to 55 miles per gallon, so quite good overall. Jazz also comes with a really nice 6-speed gearbox, and it's really crisp and precise in terms of how it changes, and then reverse all the way over and back along through here. While a lot of buyers in this segment probably aren't going to be that bothered about power overall in a car like this, I have to say I'm a sucker for a car with good acceleration. And say for example this Jazz here at the moment, we're in second gear at 30 kilometers an hour. If we put our foot down, it's really responsive. The first time I drove one of these I was so surprised in how quickly it accelerates, and I'm really not going all the way up through the RPMs. Into fourth gear, nice and crisp, lovely acceleration. While we're out checking, there's one other really cool feature actually. If we watch this section here, we see at the moment a round circle just with a couple of lines through it. At the moment I'm approaching a 50 kilometer an hour zone. So as I pass through the signs right now, you can see which comes up there. It's now telling me I'm in a 50 zone. It's dead handy. That is a dead useful feature. If you're from the RSA, put your fingers in your ears for a sec. But I know, honestly, I've often been in areas outside towns where I'm going outside the town or coming into the town, and I'm kind of going, I have genuinely no idea, is this a 60, an 80 or 100? It can happen, so something like that is really useful. And that's actually complemented by some other stuff in terms of safety as well. So if you look over here in the centre, there's a couple of sensors. The first one is automatic headlights. So basically when it gets dark at night time, the headlights will come on themselves. When you meet traffic, they'll dip. When you go back into an unlit area, they'll go into full. Another thing along here is rain sensitive wipers. So obviously when it rains up above, yes, you are going to get water droplets forming here, and the wipers will come on automatically at the very speeds depending on how much water is there. And the other cool thing as well is it's also got a forward looking radar. So the forward looking radar, we already saw how it interprets the speed signs, but the other thing it's doing is basically it's looking forward, and what the car is doing is passive safety, which means basically if something slows down in front of you, it's going to give you a warning to say the car in front of you has slowed down and you haven't actually reacted. And one other cool thing as well, under 32 kilometers an hour, this car here, if you don't hit the brakes or the clutch and something in front of you has stopped dead, basically this car now is going to slam on the brakes. The idea is to lower the speed at which you impact an object, so it's not something you're going to rely on, but again it's passive safety, basically giving you a better chance of having a less damaging accident overall. So very cool safety features, and you have to go with this grade here, ES, which is the middle spec. You've got to go that far just to get those features. As well, on the outside we can see at the front daytime running lights along the front, and other cool things as well is it's also got parking sensors on the front and the rear. So at the front over here we got a parking sensor on this side, and we also got a parking sensor on this side here. At the very front here it doesn't, so I am going to point out, if you are looking at it, this is for that corner there and that corner there, but obviously they are the points where when you're swinging out of spaces and in through tight gaps, that's the area that's exposed. It's not where you're driving dead forward into objects, and if you are, you probably shouldn't be driving. Rear sensors are more comprehensive along here, so all the way along the back, because obviously you can't see what's happening behind you. And the way they work then is, if you're in the car, by the way, anyone that's curious, these decals are just little transfers. They come off when you buy the car, so we just have them on because it's part of the fleet here, that's all. So if I drive forward towards this, I'm going to get two warnings. The first one is down through here, which is telling me I've got a problem in the front right, or I've got a bigger one up in the screen through the centre. Just from a driver's point of view, as you're looking forward, that's there and that is over there. And then if I go for reverse, I'm going to get a similar message when I go to back up to the likes of this CLA Mercedes. Getting paranoid here now. There we go. Okay, so behind me I got a problem, and the car similarly is telling me down through here I got a problem, and similarly in through here it's telling me I got a problem as well. So all very, very useful stuff. The colour in the car is a really, really nice solid Milano red. Milano red is out on the Civic for, sorry, not Civic, on the Honda range for as long as I can remember. I remember growing up when I used to like Honda Civics back in 87, 88. They had this similar Milano red finish, and it's a really solid colour. It looks really, really cool, no matter if it's dirty, clean. It's just a nice colour overall. It suits the shape of the Jazz. On the outside we have 15-inch alloy wheels. I always like the way Honda make these forward kind of facing spokes. I just think they're very sporty and unique looking. After that, then in terms of the outside, usual stuff you'd expect. Bumpers are colour coded, wing mirrors colour coded, door handles colour coded, rear spoiler colour coded, antenna up through the dock colour coded as well. All the windows have UV protection as well, so in terms of sunlight coming in. Behind the front wheels you will have anti-lock brakes, you will have emergency brake assist, emergency brake distribution. In terms of all four wheels all the way around, you will have traction control, so if you go to pull across a wet junction it'll stop the wheels from spinning. But the other thing as well is if the rear end of the car gets out of shape on you on a wet roundabout, it'll move around braking pressure and traction control to the wheels that are stuck. And the whole idea is you can't really do a 360 in a car like this anymore. So I suppose as we see so far with all the stuff I've talked about, and especially considering the price point and the size of this car, there is a ton of passive safety that's trying to protect you all the time, even though you don't know about it. Jazz, yes, is in a small car segment, not the smallest car segment, but it is in that size with Fiesta, Polo. I am 100% sure this car is bigger in pretty much all the dimensions than any of the competition out there. It is really, really big. So first of all, it's got a nice big boot. Again, come look at it, try it yourself. I think you'll be quite happy. Grab handle there for closing down. The back seats get really, really versatile in how they work. So the first thing I'd say, in a Honda Jazz you can get in because the doors are so right angled and get around someone or a child seat that's there. The floor is relatively flat all the way across. And then after that, this seat is adjustable in like that, so I can do it one-handed. And that means now I've got a tall mode that I can bring stuff that's tall. I can do the same with the other seat, just flip it up. And similarly then, if I want to let it down, I just grab this handle and drop it down like so. Similarly for the back, if I had two hands free, which I don't, so I'm going to try and do it one-handed, I can drop this seat very easily. So it's really simple stuff. And then I've got a flat floor. Now again, as we know, we can do that on both sides, but if you look at the length going forward, and considering I can do it on this side as well, you end up with space that's similar to a car style van, actually, like a Focus van or a Golf van or something like that. So do not underestimate Jazz in terms of size. I assure you it's a mistake. This car is really, really big in terms of the boot, really, really big in terms of the back. A weird amount of legroom is actually how I would describe it if I sit into the back of this car. And the seats, this seat does not go back any forward. If you remember, I tried to give you a kind of driver's eye view of what's going on here. To do that, I actually had to let this seat does not go any further back, and I still have that much space, and I'm 6 foot. So in terms of headroom, I'm grand. And if you look down along through here, I still have that much space, and that seat, as we were saying, is all the way back. And like, to be fair, most people driving a Jazz aren't going to sit all the way back in a seat. There's actually a weird amount of room in the back, but it's really cool. I remember seeing the presentation of this car first, and they actually had a comparison because it was so unusually big. They actually compared it to the Mercedes S-Class, which I know is nowhere near the same comparison. But actually, when it came to legroom, there really wasn't much between them. As you'd expect, you've got child locks back here, you've got electrics for windows back here, you've got, oh, that's my feet, God. Okay, that car, that's obviously quite easy to clean, so please do not be put off by that. God, whatever's happening to my shoes there or whatever's on it. 3 head restraints in the back, 3 3-point safety belts, ESi-VTEC over here, ESi-VTEC over there for child seats, and kangaroo pocket over here. In terms of the front, usual stuff like electrics for windows and mirrors, central locking in through here, child locks for the back windows through there. We can also fold in our electric mirrors using that button there. And then after that we have, as we were saying, I've let the seat back so you can get an idea of what it's like from the driver's eye line. So our electrics over here. Down through here, parking sensors front and rear, lane change warning, another passive safety feature. If I drift over lane and if I don't use the indicator, it's going to warn me that I have done that. Heights of lights, traction control, as we saw. Wipers are automated like we talked about already. Headlights are automated again for nighttime, daytime, and also when you meet traffic and not meet. Basically, the only thing you're going to ever do with the lights is indicate, and that's pretty much it. Revolution counter in through here, up and down to tell us when to change gear. Speedo in through here. Trip computer, which is operated from over here. So I'm changing this information like average speed, fuel consumption, how much fuel I've got left, all that kind of information there. I've got cruise control in through here. Remember guys, we're actually in a small car and the amount of stuff that's in it. Okay, Bluetooth in through there. Controls for audio and radio in through here. Then we have one USB connector in through the armrest through there. I've got another USB connector in through here so we can charge phone from one, play iPod from the other. 12 volt, I've got HDMI if I want to play video up through here. I've got air conditioning in through here, and then the screen is Android 7-inch touch and swipe. And okay, so audio functions including a CD, which is getting rare, so CD player there as well. AHA, which is internet radio, general phone stuff, general settings overall. And after that then we also have somebody ringing me, I'll have to ring them back in a sec. Trip information in through here, and then in through there we can go surf the web. And once we have it paired up to our phone, you need to use your phone's data, like set up a Bluetooth or a hotspot, but we can teach you how to do all that kind of stuff. Very, very simple and straightforward. So that's got a million gazillion features on it. So like overall, as you see, there is a serious amount of spec on that car. So bear in mind, that car is in the small car segment. I actually think that it could suit people that are even looking for a car a little bit bigger than what they would traditionally associate something like Fiesta or Polo with. These are extremely reliable. Warranty is going to run on that car also until 2020. You've got roadside assist until 2020. Average cost of servicing is about €200 a year, but that's probably being a little bit cautious just to make sure that we're covering all costs. So the first service is about 160, the second service a little over 200, and that's your average, and they alternate between big and small. Road tax we said 200 quid. Fuel consumption, you're well into the 50 to 55 range, or 4.5 to 5 litres per 100 kilometres. We can do trade-ins, we can also do excellent finance rates because we deal with all the major lenders, and as you saw, it's an extremely safe car, and it's also got a ton of features overall. So hopefully this car is of interest. Thank you for taking time to watch. If you come to the garage, we are based in Kildare town. We're just about 30 minutes south of Dublin, just off the M7 motorway, junctions 12 and 13. If you want directions, 086 843 1945. You will see when you pull in the Maxall here, you'll see Honda, over there behind me. You'll see Hyundai here, and further up the road where we were was also Mercedes as well. The garage is a family-run business in operation for almost 70 years, so if you're spending money in a garage like this, you can know that I suppose the garage is trying to stay in business for at least another 70 years, so we're trying to do the right thing by people always. So hopefully we can help. If there's another car that's of interest and maybe you haven't seen it so far, give me a shout, and I'll most certainly be able to see if we can source it for you either. So thanks for taking time to watch.